Cut crease is a very tricky eye look, and I want you to pay attention to this. I'll be using my Pillowy base. It's an eyeshadow base, and this is a blank canvas that is white. I use white because I want it to stay true to color. I want every color that I put on there to really pop, right? So I'm just going to gently dab this onto my client's face. Now I'm going to take my time and blend this out, because the truth is, the nicer it appears, the nicer your eyeshadow appears. So just take your time and make sure that you blend this, and it's very, very flawless. Like, clear out all the harsh lines, and because this is really going to affect your eyeshadow, so you need to take your time. Cut crease is not a look for the impatient. You need to be really patient. So I'll be using this Zaron eyeshadow palette in Splash, and also this Blackbird Beauty palette. Now I'm going to reach for the yellow. So if you've listened to the color wheel theory, you understand the colors that I'm going for. So I'm using this warm tone. This is orange, and I'm just going to use this to do the base or the crease of this eye look. So now, if you want your colors to be very pigmented, this is a pro tip that you need to take home. You'll be wondering, why is it that my colors don't pop like my favorite beauty influencers? This is what you're doing wrong. Do you just like apply your eyeshadow on your base and then you just start blending immediately? If that's what you do before or used to do, please just stop it. Okay, what you need to do is you need to apply your eyeshadow on the base. Like, you need to just apply first, don't blend yet. Just make sure that you have enough saturation. That's enough. I mean enough. Like, take your time. I keep saying cut crease is not for the impatient. You need to take your time. So I'm just going to gently like dab this onto the eyeshadow base. I'm going to make sure that I have the pigmentation that I'm looking for. So now, since it's a cut crease look, I want to go higher. I want it to be very dramatic, so I'm going to go higher. That's close to her ears. I'm just going to keep applying product just to create the shape that I'm actually going for, and then I just keep tapping. You see that I've not started blending yet. This is because I've not gotten the saturation that I really want. So I'm just going to keep adding just so that the color actually pops. Now I'm going in with another shade of orange because I want it to be more fierce, and I'm just going to still dab this onto that particular surface. I'm not blending yet. I want to have more saturation. If you want your colors to pop, please dab first before you start blending. Okay, so I'm just going to take my time and dab this so you can see the color change. That one, the first orange, was more on the pinkish side, and then this one is more orange. So we're just going to keep applying that, and then yeah, at some point we're going to start blending. And yeah, I think we're going to fast forward to the part where I start blending. So I'm just going to take my time, and then I'm going to start blending this. Cut crease takes time, it takes a lot of energy, and you need to be patient with it. So now I'm just taking my time, and then I'm blending this particular look. And the truth is, I'll still reach for my palette, because the truth is, when you're blending, some products actually leave the surface, so you need to reach for more colors, and then just keep blending and blending till you're sure that you have a fine blend amongst the two colors that you put. So now I'm going for a yellow look, and I'm just going to do the yellow eyeshadow, and I'm just going to do the same thing that I did. I'm just going to apply this, that's dab it onto the product or onto the eyeshadow base, and then when I have enough saturation, I'm going to blend. So I'm going for like a fire look. This is just a transition. This is an orange transition that I'm doing, so I don't need too much yellow because I want more of the orange to pop. So after adding this to the eyeshadow base, I'm just going to blend this and make sure that it has the illusion of yellow, orange, that's lighter orange, then deeper orange. So that's just how you make that fine blend. So after dabbing this, I'm just going to blend this and make sure that this is smooth and nice. I always blend in circular motions. You're supposed to blend in circular motions actually, so that you can get a really nice blend. So blend it in circular motions just so that it looks nice. All these type of looks are not for everyday makeup. They're like for content creators or beauty influencers, most times you need this type of looks if you want to showcase how dramatic you can be or how creative you can be. And also it's also an avenue for you to show brands what you can do with their products. So now in this second eye, we're going to use purple as our base color or our transition color. So I'm going to do the same thing, that is, I'm going to gently dab this onto the model's skin or the eyeshadow base, and then I'm just going to build saturation. I'm going to take my time and do this, right? So this is another intense part of the cut crease. This is where you actually cut your crease. Now you either use a wipe, micellar water, or a Vaseline. So I'm going to show you with the two separate eyes the two different methods you can cut your crease. So the first one I'll be using is the Vaseline method. So what I do is I just get Vaseline, and then I get a brush, and then I apply this Vaseline in the way I want to cut my crease. I don't know if that makes sense. So I take my time. You don't just apply it anyhow. You actually apply it neatly, like just how you want to cut your crease. So what Vaseline does is it just makes it easier to wipe up. So you know that whenever you have like a matte lipstick on and you want to easily clean it, you just apply Vaseline and then use wipes, and then it goes off, right? So that's just the same thing that's going to happen here. So this Vaseline is just going to make it very easy for you to be able to cut your crease, because that's what it does. It just makes it easy. So you need to take your time. You don't just apply anyhow. Like, do it like you're applying your eyeshadow base, right? Do it like you're actually cutting your crease. So when you're done, you clean it. So now this is another thing that I use. This is the micellar water, and then I always do this with a cutting board. That's because you want to go into all the corners of the eyes, or you want to have a very, very straight line. The truth is, with cut crease, the straighter the line, the finer it becomes, guys. Like, you need to take your time and then cut your crease. So at every step of the way, you add micellar water to the cutting board. The truth is, you use more than one cutting board. We're talking 4, 5, 6 before you can even get a really, really clean slate. So now I know somebody will be asking, why don't you just put the eyeshadow base and cut your crease on top of the eyeshadow, right? The truth is, most times when you do that, it's going to create patches in your eyeshadow look, and you don't want that. You want your eyeshadow look to stay true to color, and you want them to actually stay in place even when you're taking pictures or even when you're blinking non-stop. So you need to clean up every product that is there, and then you now apply a new set of base. You need to take your time with this process. Like, take your time. And no, I'm not going to leave that Vaseline like that. I'm actually going to wipe it with wipes, right? I'm going to clean it up. I'm just trying to take my time with this second eye, because this is harder and it requires more patience. And then yeah, we're moving to the Vaseline part. So this one, I just put the cotton board inside the wipe, just so that it can be more defined. The truth is, if you have long nails or something, you can actually use it to cut the crease. So I'm just going to take my time and then clean this Vaseline and make sure that the line is as straight as possible, like as straight as possible. It's not something you just do in a hurry. You need to really take your time when you're cutting your crease. Like, you need to take your time. So imagine when you're doing multiple cut crease, you need to clean, make sure that the line is straight and all that. So this is the beginner's guide. This is the basic cut crease that you see online. Before you actually start learning multiple cut crease, you need to be able to master this particular art of cutting your crease before you can actually dive into all the more dramatic looks that you see on social media by your favorite beauty influencers. The truth is, you need to understand color theory very well. That's blending your colors and mixing them just so that they can be nice. And then you need to be creative enough to actually come up with looks that you can post on your social media platform. So if you understand this beginner's guide to cut crease, then I believe that you're on your way to being a very creative makeup artist or a content creator. However, I want you to tell me what you have been doing before in your old videos. How do you cut your crease? What do you use? And just let me know. So you're also going to take your time with this and draw the line. That you need to make sure that your brush is actually very flat, and you just take your time and do this. Like, I'm saying this and I'm laughing because I'm saying it sounding or like, oh, it's just easy and stuff, but I know that's going to give a lot of people tough time. But the truth is, you need to keep practicing. You need to try, fail. I know how long it took me before I could do a cut crease, so don't worry, you're going to get there. So I'm using this yellow shade from the Zarin palette, and purple is actually very complementary with yellow, so that's why I'm pairing this to the color theory. You can actually see, or you actually heard when I said this, or you saw the the color wheel, and you understand that these two colors actually working hard and complement each other. Also with this placement, you can see that I'm actually dabbing it onto the surface and trying to make sure that this is very pigmented as the yellow pops enough, just so that it can look very nice. So if you look at this, you see that I'm leaving a very white line, a very thin white line on the just between the purple and the yellow. So I want to give the illusion of some sort of little tiny white line or yellow line, little white line on that part of the eyeshadow. So I'm taking my time with this placement just so that it looks nice. I'm going to go over and set that part of the eyeshadow, that's the whitish part, with a clear or white eyeshadow, just so that it doesn't crease. I just lock it in with an eyeshadow. You can also use a liner to do that, but for me this is actually a safer alternative. If you're someone who doesn't have steady hands, I wouldn't advise you going with a liner. I feel this is just the perfect step to start as a beginner. Then when you're sure of your steady hands, then you can go in with the liner. Then I gently clean with my wipes and Vaseline, and here we have our cut crease look.